You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to talk about payback on Xander. Who wants payback on Xander? Well, Sarah does, after she found out that he is filed for full custody, and there's somebody else in town, Brady Black, who hates Xander and is looking for payback on him all the time. Will these two team up for payback by getting into a romance? So things were looking so good for Sarah and Xander for just a minute on Monday's Days of Our Lives. Rex Brady was out of the way. Chloe Lane was out of the way. Both of them had left town. But the big question is Brady going to wedge into this situation that's going on with Xander and Sarah to try and get some revenge? Let's talk about it. But if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives updates and discussions. So on Monday, October 16th, we saw Sarah being super nice to Xander, ready to introduce him to their daughter. And it felt for a minute like their romantic spark was kind of reigniting. You know, once she found out that he hadn't killed Susan, she was kind of willing to look past a whole lot of stuff. And then in just a moment, it all fell apart. All it took was that phone call from Justin Kiriakis to tell her that Xander filed for sole custody, and she snapped. He tried to explain he had done it because she was trying to cheat him out of being a father, because she was trying to plug Rex Brady into that role, but she was furious. She would not listen. So what has me thinking about this Brady-Sarah thing is also the fact that Brady has no love in his life right now. He has almost always got a woman in his arms, his bed, on his mind. Theresa Donovan just slithered back to town, hoping to get back with him. Remember, she made a beeline right to his place to see him and try to talk him into reconciling. And for just a moment, she thought she had him. She pulled him into this kiss, and he kissed her back. He felt that spark. There was some tonsil hockey going on, and then he just snapped back to reality. Brady pushed her away and said, no, never, ever again. And he's sticking to his guns. As for Xander, like Theresa, he might have thought for a moment he had the chance to get back with Sarah because she was getting all mushy with him. But just as Brady's reality check was like a cold shower on whatever he felt for Theresa for a moment, hearing that Xander filed a sole custody claim doused whatever spark Sarah might have felt for a second. So that leaves both Brady and Sarah at romantic loose ends, and both with a grudge against their exes. Could this turn into a payback plot? And of course, Sarah and Brady have a few obstacles if the Peacock soap decided to pair them. For one, she dated his brother, Eric Brady, but that's not much of an obstacle because Brady and Eric both dated Nicole Walker too. There's the second issue that she kidnapped his little girl, Rachel, a few years ago, but I doubt that Brady would hold that against her because she was having a serious breakdown at the time. And also, let's be clear, Brady Black absolutely despises Xander Cook. So even if he's not looking to get into a relationship right now, I could see him dating Sarah just to aggravate Sarah, and I could see Sarah dating him for that exact reason. Remember, she didn't move on from Xander with Rex in a romantic way. She and Rex were friends, and they got married to protect her baby, and that was all Rex's idea, but Sarah wasn't smitten with him. You remember, Rex cheated on her more than once. He got somebody else pregnant when they were together. He says he's changed. I don't know. We'll see at some point if he's back. But Xander did have a rebound romance, and that was with Chloe Lane. He fell in love with her, and he proposed to her, and that really, really bothered Brady. It bothered Sarah too. That ate at both of them, and it might drive Xander absolutely crazy if he thinks Brady is moving in to play house with Sarah and play dad to his daughter, Victoria, just like Rex tried to do. And of course, I will say right now, there are no spoilers indicating Sarah gets involved with Brady or that they date or anything. This conversation here was inspired by me thinking about who's single and who's age appropriate that Brady could date, because clearly he needs a little bit of romance in his life. He needs a little lovin'. He did fall for Kristen improbably, a few years back, but he's not going to get back with her ever, 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 or so he says. And Brady did love Theresa at one point, but he is not willing to unpack all her crazy baggage again, so that's off the table. Gwen left town, so she's not available to date. Jada's with Rafe, and her sister Talia is leaving town on Tuesday. Sloane's with Eric, Nicole's with EJ, at least for now. Pretty much everyone else is paired off except for Kristen and Theresa, and Brady is not going to crazy town with either of them again. But even if Brady comes sniffing around Sarah to irritate Xander and get some revenge, it won't work out. Why do I know this? Because Suzanne Rogers, who plays Maggie Horton, did an interview a few weeks back, I think 4 weeks ago, about a month ago, for her 50th anniversary. And she spilled some tea in an interview and said that Xander and Sarah are remarried. I don't know if she was asked to spill this tea to get people interested or it was a slip of the tongue, because, they film so far ahead. And if she doesn't watch the show every day, she may have completely lost the plot on at what point everything has streamed on Peacock versus what they filmed. I don't know how closely the Day's actors keep track of what's aired versus what they filmed, or if they just rely on the PR people to tell them. I don't know. So we don't know when Xander and Sarah are going to reconcile, but I do trust what Suzanne Rogers said in the interview. She was talking about Alex being... I think she mentioned Alex being CEO, or I'm trying to remember if that was someone else's interview, but she definitely said that Xander and Sarah are remarried. Anyway, since she did this interview about a month ago, it could be anywhere in the next 4 to 5 months, because they film 6 months ahead. And based on when she leaked it, we've still got months away from any kind of reconciliation for them. Obviously, we've got this custody thing to blow up. And then Paul Telfer did an interview, I think a couple of weeks after the Suzanne Rogers interview. And he talked about Sarah and Xander not being together, not being in love, but amicably co-parenting. So this custody battle should work itself out pretty soon based on what he said. I absolutely think it would be a whole lot of fun to see Brady and Sarah tweak Xander's nose by dating, even if they're only fake dating, just to mess with him. My long-term ship is definitely Xander with Sarah, but I think they've got a long road ahead before it gets to a reconciliation. All right, that is what I want you guys to think about. What do you think? Drop your comments below. Would you like to see Brady and Sarah really dating? Would you like to see them fake dating to mess with Xander? What do you think? If not, who should Brady date? I was trying to noodle over in my head who's single, because he's too hot to leave unpaired, right? We need to see Eric Martsolf with somebody, but there's not a lot of action to be had. There's a lot of ladies leaving, because of that mass firing under the now fired producer. So there's not a lot of hot prospects in town. So drop your comments below, click a like if you enjoyed this conversation, and definitely click subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for showing up every day to talk Days of Our Lives with me. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.